Hello and Assalamualaikum. I know Ilya Sakinah binti Azha, an architecture student from University Science Islam Malaysia, USIM. I am here to present you a new study part design that was also a project from my final semester one in USIM. This studio part will work for an architecture student as a personal space and also to maintain student motivation and desire to study well in university. And as it written in the slide, is a part work as a portable studio which can move around, and it was meant for architecture student in for the class use, and it is also a personal space for students to have their own privacy, and also a mean for a safe contact in class, and lastly, but important, a space to draw and create ideas. Main issue that I have been carefully thought about is in my project is I'm needing a personal space. I thought that is the most important thing I want in architecture student as an architecture student, especially when I want to design something. I didn't like interruption while drawing, and I also a shy person, so it will be harder for me to draw when there are eyes watching other than when there's eyes watching me. Other than that, I'm a Muslim girl, so sometimes I need privacy, but not much. It's enough to cover me when I sleep or take a nap in the studio. I would like to avoid man eyes if there is nothing important thing that are needed to be discussed about. And the second issue that I observe is I need a place to organize my drawing tools. I have a lot drawing tools, and since the studio didn't provide much cabinet that can be used by the student, I at least would prefer to have my own drawer. I didn't like to mix my things with others, and because they will likely go missing or be taken by others, so this studio part will likely work as a private cabinet for me. I think. Okay. The third issue is I need a place to draw comfortably. I sometimes didn't find myself comfortable in the studio because it wasn't designed to fit my style. So I want the furniture inside it to fit me well. I like maybe the chair, the table, how the height of the table, how the height of the chair, the characteristic of the chair. I also want a small shelf, and the color should be fit to my taste, and it would be great if all of those little things fit my taste. So I'll be delighted to stay there and pretty much make myself at home. I heard from my seniors that architecture students usually stay up in the studio pretty late to finish their project, so I at least need to make the studio likable to me so that I can stay it like another second home for me, right? Okay. Next is I need a place to find ideas. This didn't mean that much to me, but I just need it to be an inspiring design. Because I hate boring design like cube or something like straight line. So I didn't prefer it. I like more like curvy one or conical or something that seems to be fun and more like an organic lines. So that seems of course it seems fine, and the best environment for me to draw is when it's quiet and calm. I also agree with the point that the part need to be portable, like I said previously. I need it because I need something inspiring to find ideas, and this something inspiring is of course not only in the studio. I need to go outside so that I can get inspiration. I can draw anywhere with this studio point and go to places that have a nice view, or at least I can they can provide me some fresh air, or from for me in a while. Apart from that, I need it to be big enough that it can fit these small necessaries such as a charger port for my phone and laptop, and water heater for me to drink coffee, probably a built-in wall fan so that I can stay cool when I bring this part outside on the hot weather, right? So, a small couch will to rest would be perfect and preferable, and I would like to put my happy though. The next issue is I need it to be safe enough for the new normal, especially in the learning session. I don't want this part to be too shut off. Even though we need a space, distance in, distance enough for the social distancing. I don't want it to be a hindrance for me to interact with others. Like it's a shell for me to shut in myself. No, I don't want that. I want to interact with others, and it shouldn't disrupt my learning session part. And practically, this part is not a bedroom for me. So that's it. But it might, even though it's not a bedroom for me, it's a second home to me. The translation of the ayat in the slide is, fight in the way of Allah those who fight against you, but do not transgress. Indeed, Allah do not like transgressor. In the verse 190 of Surah Al-Baqarah in Quran, Allah has mentioned to us we can have a self-defense to counter the offense that we receive, but do not overboard. The best defense is a good offense, but defense can also become as an offense. But it would be better if we could avoid the fight in the first place. Or have you heard about the strongest is the one that can survive until the end? So it means how do you want to survive without persistence? So you need persistence, and in order to have persistence, you need to have a way to protect yourself so that you could survive in the meantime, and probably survive longer. In this new era, which COVID has invaded our peace, don't you think we ought to do something about it? Right. So where is our defense against COVID? Think about it. Therefore, here I goes making Hogo as my concept for my studio part. Is correlated to the Nakli study before. Hogo is a Japanese word means protection. Well, I like Japanese culture, so I would prefer to instill the element that I like while designing. Protect means to keep safe from harm or injury. And in our context nowadays, in a peace country like Malaysia, we didn't have that much threat to us, but the threat is still there. And what is the threat? First, okay, we have the devil's temptation, especially for me. I often mind wandering somewhere during the lecture because I couldn't keep myself uh, stay focused in class. I'm sorry, but why actually is that right? So I did blame the devil's whispering that keep make me do things that I like, such as playing my phone or sleeping in class or listening to something else, or when I have something needed to be done up, ASAP, need to be done immediately, and I need to submit, especially assignment on time. I keep putting it off till later because the shaitan said to me, it's okay to give in. It's okay to wait. Work for your desire first. Work comes later. Well, at least that is for me. I don't know about others. I say it's very harmful for my mind and soul because I can't stay being this way. I can't. I should move on. It's for my brighter future. If not, they won't come to me. It's very crucial to me. So the environment is what matters. A space meant for my world future will wash away all those negativity I had inside me. It also means a way for me to change for a better person. Space also make people of the right. Okay, secondly, this threat is quite dangerous as it could harm my life and health. It's known as the COVID-19. Must you have heard about it, right? The COVID-19 has been affected our life, and so the best defense for this is social distancing. So to apply this in class, we also need to have a space at least 1 meter apart from each other. Remember, COVID-19 is dangerous. It could bring you to death. No, death. And especially when your immunity system is quite weak. So this studio part will likely work as a quarantine room, sort of, but we can still communicate with each other in a safe environment. It means it did not close off, but it's still reachable. Third is a harm from enemy or human or in some form of like bully for the school context. Since this studio bot is meant for a personal use, which means also one person use, two person would likely not be able to fit in it. It can be used as a hideout or a shield when you make enemies with your classmate, but please don't. The enemy won't be able to reach you because it is a small cramped space which would not be possible for two person to fit in. So the third is harm from the weather. It won't be able to cover you from the rain, but at least it could cover you from the hot weather or the sunlight when you bring the studio part outside, so you won't die from the heat stroke. One last thing, we need to be aware of the small yet unseen creature called microorganisms. They are so small and tiny, but if you do not pay your mind to it, one day you will be slapped in the face back. And also, we need to take a special precaution about this because I care about cleanliness. I'm quite allergic to dust, or or else I'll keep sneezing in my class and my eyes to read. So the design need to be easy to clean so I could keep a healthy environment. I think that's all. We move on to ideation. My ideation is inspired from a mammal known as armadillo. In Malay, we call it as tenggiling. In case you don't know, why did I choose armadillo as an ideation? Well, first, fun fact is armadillo is the only one mammal using a shell. There are many other classes that use shells like turtles, which is reptile, or snail, which is mollusks. But for mammal, there is only one creature who had them, and which is none other than armadillo. You might find pangolin is similar to armadillo, but it's actually not. It's actually not. Pangolin in Malay is also called tenggiling. It has the same name, so I don't think Malay can recognize which one is it. But it's true they are similar, but they are not the same. Pangolin may also be a mammal. They are a mammal, but what different is they didn't wear a shell. What they have is actually a hard skill, sisek, on their skin. And the other fun fact is armadillo means as a little armored one in Spanish. They once had shocked the world saying that their shell is a bulletproof. It's crazy, right? But actually, when the scientists discovered it's not. And in human terms, the word armor means the metal covering the former wound to protect the body in battle, usually used by the military. Or have you heard a fierce knight in the shining armor? These terms might also often heard in games such as Dota and PUBG. And as the name armament is intended to deflect or diffuse damaging forces, which is really related to our Nakli study for self-defense. Okay, it's also related to my concept, which is protection. Next is I want to say next, as I said earlier, I prefer design which is not dull and boring, and I find the shape of armadillo as fun because it can transform into a ball when they want to go down the hill. They will slide down or hide from the predators so that um, they will have prevention to save their life. And armadillo have layered bands on their body that allow them to move and while being under hard shell. Their band is up for 9 bands for a matured armadillo. Another fun fact is the third fact is their shell is actually made up from their bone cells. It was also their skin. They can't change the shell like some snail or sea crabs, but they are because they are born with the shell. So that's it. They live with the shell for their entire life. And lastly, armadillo is known as a mammal live in solitude or isolation, which I refer to the state of being or living alone, which is the very ideal reason for a social distancing. Can you relate why I choose armadillo, right? because it's related to us as a human, as a mammal, and as our condition right now, social distancing. For the precedent study, I did some precedent study on the form of armadillo shell and look up to the architecture of a building which have similar forms like Sydney Opera House or Armadillo Green Tea House and others which I didn't remember or know their names of. I mostly look up of the ideation from the Pinterest, and most of them have a staggered but layered roof or maybe a wall. It also works as a mean of natural ventilation at the between of each opening of the layered wall. We back to the ideation armadillo. This staggered but layered part will be their bend on their shell, which allow them to roll and curve into a ball, or maybe walk and move their body muscles. And most of the designs take up to 4 or 5 of armadillo's bend to integrate it in their design, which is layered wall. Because it had which is layer and it also have some gaps within it, so it will allow the natural lighting coming in and also for a natural ventilation. For the construction material, I would prefer to use plywood because it is easy to work with and especially it's easy to bend. It is also made of timber, so it will be sustainable. It also strong yet light, which is will make my part durable yet portable. Apart from that, the finishes would be varnish coating with matte finishes. It will be waterproof and it will make the cleaning work easier because we can just swipe it off with wet sponge or something with maybe the coffee spill on it. And I also prefer to paint it with white so it's easy to spot the dust when the cleaning, so when we do cleaning it will be top notch. In this design, it has some main components that need to be thought of. And firstly is a chair. What I needed is a gaming chair. It is ergonomic and can give us comfort to our big age. It can also adjust to the angle, so we could have a proper lean back. And you also have a padded cushion to secure your comfy. So, but the most important is it's designed for a gamer. I'm not a real gamer, but I do play games a lot. This chair is meant for a long time sitting use, which I think is a perfect office use as well. I didn't, well, people didn't usually have a big age because people usually have big age because they used to sit 90 degrees for a long period without moving. Well, this sucks. And this chair is the answer for all the sitting problem. At least I can change my sitting posture anytime I want without limit as it is adjustable. The color is striking too, which for me is attractive yet quite elegant. And secondly is the drafting table. The drafting table needed to be adjustable both the height and the angle of the table. It will also need to have some drawer to put some stuff in it, so like markers, paper, and also it should have some space or holder to hold my T-square, so I won't be losing them. The angle should be adjustable from 90 degrees up to 180 degrees, so that I can enjoy drawing while the table is fixed as my arm angle. The size is the standard size for drafting table, which can fit the size of A0 paper. And thirdly is a short white shelf. I needed the white top. The white top can be used as a coffee table or a place where I can place my bag, or books, water heater, laptop, and everything. Inside the shelf, might as well put all my architecture stuff in it. So this also work as my laptop table. So be flexible, right? We can save more spaces and we can use them more efficiently. Okay, move on to the next slide, which is board and presentation drawing. So this is my presentation board. I like green and blue, so I pick a theme color greenish blue, which is turquoise for my board. It is also an A0 size board. The upper board consists of information such as introduction, case study, ideation, furniture, details, and interior design, which I drew in one point perspective, also design process, and lastly, concept. As for the design process, which is on the top right of the corner, it starts with the derivation shape of armadillo shell, which at first looked like a semicircle, then it evolved it into a cut, a portion cut of a cake, like a cake, a cutted cake on a piece of on the plate. So, the lower part of the board consists of drawing details such as roof plan, elevation, and section. As you can see, the only entrance from the side is from the side next to the table. How can I go in? You need to adjust the table to 180 degree first, and then you can slip through the gap at the next side of the table. That's why I told you it's a space meant for only one person at a time. So that you can have a personal space, and you can also see the position of the chair and short shelf from the section. From the section drawing, chair is right behind the table, and the shelf is behind the chair. So there is also some opening from the wall, which I made it staggered, and also some opening from the wall itself. I made a little window like a frame. I took it from the fact that the shell is a part of armadillo bone structure. Bone structure is also a bare frame of the body, so not to mention that I want to allow more natural ventilation and air inside the pod, so I won't be suffocated. When I want more privacy, I can just turn the table 180 degree to block other people's gazes so they can't peep in. And this this is my mock-up model for the design process. As you can see, how the shape derived from. And the next is the model I crafted to present my design of the studio pod, in which is in different angle. You can see the detail of the table, which can adjust which the angle can be adjusted. The chair also can do a 360 degree speed, and it can move. And I think that's the end of my presentation. Hope you like my design, and have a nice day. Sayonara.